During a House of Commons statement on net migration and border security, Nigel Farage shames previous governments for allowing millions of migrants to arrive in UK, whilst also grilling Yvette Cooper over who these individuals were and where they came from. In today's video, we will watch and react, whilst also going over all of the latest news from up and down the country. But first, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel and join our fast-growing community. Just a quick one to say we have new Make Britain Great, again t-shirts available on our store. Go grab them now. They are available at britishstand.com or check the link in the description. So as stated in the intro, Nigel Farage shames previous governments for allowing millions of migrants to arrive in UK, whilst also grilling Yvette Cooper over who these individuals were and where they came from. Have a watch.
Farage.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I agree with the Home Secretary. She's right to highlight that 2023 was a year of shame for a government that had repeatedly promised net migration of tens of thousands a year, not nearly a million. Perhaps they'll never be forgiven for it. But if I also look at 2023, I see that asylum claims were 84,000 people. Everyone talks about the small boats, and yet 69% of that 84,000 did not come across the English Channel in boats. Can she tell me, please, where did they come from? Were they overstayers? Were they student visas? Who were the 69%?
From what?
Well, we are clear that net migration needs to come down after the huge increase. We also need to restore order to the asylum system. Part of that is going after the criminal gangs who are undermining border security and putting lives at risk and tackling the small boat crossings. But there is also an issue about the increases that we have seen around in-country asylum applications, and we have instigated a review into the increase in-country asylum applications to get to the bottom of what is happening and why. There were two areas where we found that the previous government's decision to remove visa requirements for visitors had led to a significant increase in asylum applications for people who were coming as visitors. Instead, we have reversed those changes that were made by the previous Conservative government and reintroduced visitor visa requirements for those countries.
What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments. In some other news, foreign criminals who avoided deportation went on to commit more than 10,000 offences in a single year, shocking new Ministry of Justice figures have revealed. The data shows that a quarter of foreign offenders went on to re-offend in Britain after being released from prison and remaining in the country. The statistics, covering the year to March 2022, represent a 25% rise compared to the previous year's figures. Over a 4-year period, foreign offenders were responsible for approximately 40,000 crimes, ranging from murder to knife possession and drug dealing. Each of the 3,235 foreign offenders released from jail committed an average of 3 crimes, totaling 10,012 offences in the year to March 2022. This marked a significant increase from the previous year, when 2,462 freed foreign criminals committed 8,021 offences. The figures include both criminals who avoided deportation and those who returned to the UK after being deported to commit further crimes. Current law requires the Home Secretary to deport any foreign criminal jailed for more than a year, with discretionary powers for those serving shorter sentences. Rupert Lowe, the Reform UK MP for Great Yarmouth, who obtained the data from the MOJ, said, "Everyone who commits a crime should be deported. Why are we tolerating this, particularly when we see the reoffending rates are so high?" Former Immigration Minister Robert Jenrick has called for tougher action, stating, "Tens of thousands of offences a year would be prevented if the government took a zero-tolerance approach to deporting foreign national offenders. The public expects robust action." Jenrick has proposed legislation requiring annual reports to Parliament detailing the nationality, visa and asylum status of every offender convicted in English and Welsh courts. One Jamaican criminal, Ernesto Elliott, murdered a 35-year-old man in a knife fight after avoiding deportation through a last-minute appeal in December 2020. Elliot was among 23 criminals, with combined sentences of 156 years, who submitted appeals days after 60 public figures signed an open letter opposing their deportation flight. In another case, Jamaican drug dealer Lloyd Byfield killed a young woman in her home after evading deportation for a violent crime. Albanian gangster Mauricio Farage was caught with loaded guns and £70,000 worth of cannabis after sneaking back into the UK following his 2015 deportation. An MOJ spokesman said, "It costs tens of thousands to hold an offender in prison, and since the new government came into power, we have returned 14% more foreign national offenders than in the same period last year." As the public would rightly expect, we continue to work closely with the Home Office to deport more foreign national offenders, keeping our streets safe and saving taxpayers millions. Lastly, owners of older vehicles are being warned about upcoming car tax changes that could significantly affect their finances. In October, Chancellor Rachel Reeves announced Labour's first autumn statement, which included several changes for British motorists. Among the key points were a freeze on the 5 pence per litre fuel duty cut, additional funding for road repairs, and new vehicle excise duty rates. From April 1st, 2025, standard VED rates for cars, vans and motorcycles will be uprated according to the Retail Price Index, meaning higher taxes for most petrol, diesel and electric vehicle owners. Experts warn that older vehicle owners could face price hikes linked to inflation. For example, a smaller engine vehicle might cost £220, and larger engines could see charges rise to £360. These rates could continue to increase if inflation persists. The budget also introduced changes to first-year VED rates for new cars registered after April 1st, 2025, aiming to increase the difference between zero-emission, hybrid, and petrol-diesel cars. Zero-emission vehicles will pay just £10 annually until 2029 to 2030, while rates will rise to £110 for cars emitting 1 to 50 grams per kilometre of CO2, and £130 for those with 140 grams per kilometre of CO2, 51 to 75 grams per kilometre. Cars emitting more than 255 grams per kilometre could face charges up to £5,490. These tax hikes are designed to make zero-emission vehicles more attractive by offering lower VD rates compared to traditional petrol and diesel cars. What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comments section below. If you've not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British political content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.